A wise man once said, "We know in part and we prophesy in part." Hi, I'm Timilai Kush, and I'll be talking about definition, the shaping of perspective. Join me. Yeah, so today is actually a very interesting topic, and it's something that I've always been longing to talk about for a long time, how definitions actually shape people's perspective on anything. Definition in itself, then now I'm giving a definition for definition. It's so interesting, right? Definition is the precise statement that gives meaning to a word, a phrase, or a symbol with the aim or essentially bringing clarity to concepts and thoughts, right? So I can give a lot of examples. I mean, you can remember, go back to our school days, even till now, you go online, you Google for something, maybe you Google for technology, and then you find different kind of definitions, and you're like, which one should I even follow? Definitions are just the way people see. Basically, it's just from the lens of everybody who authored that definition. If you check just technology alone, a lot of meanings can actually be given to technology. Every definition is dependent on the perspectives of the author, and that perspective just serves as a lens through which that author or the person, whoever the person is, filters information they have received. So considering which one to choose between true or false, what to hold on to or not to hold on to. Every definition is dependent on the author's perspective, on the author's viewpoint, on how the author sees life, how the author sees things. And that's why you cannot afford to hold on to just a particular definition, because definition in themselves is just how people see. People give meaning to what they see from their own point of view. So you see, that's very dangerous if you hold on to a particular definition. That's why the best way to maximize definition is actually to get as much as possible from everybody. If you have like 5 people give different definitions for same thing, you just pick all what they have to say. So for instance, like I said, technology. Someone says, oh, this is what sees as technology. Another person says, oh, this is what they sees as technology. Another person. So you just bring it all together and try to form a common explanation, an explanation that intersects all their definitions. That's my own way. I'm telling you, best way to get or to maximize definitions from different people. Because if you follow everybody's definition individually, it really can lead you astray, because there are so many other things. If you remember when I started this video, I said, for we know in part and prophesy in part. Quoting from article of 1 Corinthians, section 13, subsection 9, I think, was saying, for we know in part and we prophesy in part. And then the 12th subsection that wrote that verse, or the author, was saying, I see in part. So everything I'm seeing, I'm only seeing from my point of view. Whoever is listening or whoever is reading my definition should not hold on to my own meaning only, because they will be limited. I will give 2 examples of words that many people have seen over the years give their own perspective and has changed. So number 1, you have grace. Very, very common. Unmerited favor from God. I mean, the definition it evolved into is grace is just all spiritual blessings. Basically, all spiritual blessings, all spiritual blessings, all spiritual blessings. Whether it's merited or unmerited, just comes to the center point that it is all spiritual blessings and gifts from God to enable you to live a life of victory, get the best out of life, maximize your potential. So you see how this definition evolved, and there were many people who approach life from the unmerited favor definition. Yeah, they will get results, and that's one thing about results. You'll get results, out of it. But because you have results or experiences to support a particular notion or idea, doesn't make it the rule or doesn't make it true. But I don't want to go there. Because people say, oh, results cancel insults. Well, not all results should be supported, because process also matters in how you obtain your results. Let's move to the other one, perfection. So perfection used to be a state of flawlessness with static results. So when everybody hears perfection, I used to hear things like that too, that perfection is just have that state of completeness. There's nothing you can add to it. You don't need to add any other thing. But now looking back at that definition, I can say it's actually not true. And there are so many examples to support it. Let me give an example. If you take an iPhone, let me use the old iPhones, 5S and all those first versions, 6, 5S and all of that. If you put them side by side with yourself, you see that a lot of advancements happened between the iPhone 5S or 5 and 11 Pro Max. See that evolution. But at that time when they did the iPhone 4 or the iPhone 5S or that level or that model, many people thought that that's like the best. I mean, imagine we're just coming from a time where we still had buttons, we still had the BlackBerry that took over the market, we still had the buttons, all of that. But they're now coming with a phone that was like buttonless. Like, how in the world do you make such transition? But it happened, and so it was seen as best of the best at some point. But looking now, it's child's play compared to where the world is headed right now. So that is just how it is. Perfection is not a state of completeness. It's just being able to evolve. It's dynamic. I believe that the best word to describe perfection is maturity. It's just maturity. In one word, maturity has levels though. Yeah, true, agreed. But then it has evolved, it has changed, it has adapted, and it has grown, it has developed. Whatever what you want is to explain that, but yeah. So definitions actually shape people's perspective. Mostly they shape the perspective of the reader or the hearer. The author himself also, his perspective is also being shaped, but not the way it is for the hearer or the reader. What the definition does to the author is it reinforces the power of that definition. That's why if you bring out a particular definition out and a lot of people agree to it without anybody challenging it, that can this really be true, you can be rest assured that that definition will become almost absolute. Everybody will not want to do anything again to evolve that definition, and this applies to every other area. I'm trying to be careful saying this because it may cause some issues, but anyway, I'll say it. So they used to say the truth will set you free, and then we have people arguing for and against that opinion. But this is my own understanding of what that really means. Number one, that's Jesus Christ. When he was talking about himself, you need to examine what he meant and what he was referring to. So you don't just pick a statement and then just fly on with it. You have to understand that there are true statements and there's the truth. A statement may be true, but then you also need to expand it. So, okay, who is the person speaking? What kind of character does this person have? What does this person really mean? What are the things he's trying to say, the message he's trying to communicate? All of that, when you are examining a statement, what he really meant by the truth will set you free, he was talking about himself. The truth is primarily a person, right? But then the truth is also a body of information, knowledge. For instance, when you see me, I said my name is Temilayo Kush, you know, that's my name, Temilayo Kush, right? But then there are information or there are things about me that you may need to know, apart from skin color, who I am, how I talk, my behavior, and all of that. Truth is both a person and a set of information. In fact, that set of information is even about that person, how that person thinks. People arguing against and for they really still don't get this thing. No definition is the absolute. No definition should be the constant. Everybody sees in parts, so we must respect our parts. So if someone says, oh, I got this part right, the truth is a person, he is correct. And another person that says, no, the truth you know cannot set you free, but the truth that you understand, you receive, you understand, and you apply is what sets you free, is also correct. How? Truth is also a body of information too, and we all know that information is not just power, it's just potential power. Until you apply it, it's of no use. It's of no use. That was what the person, that's what that second school of thought was actually trying to explain or pass across to people. So nobody's definition is absolute, but whoever would be authoring a particular definition should be wise enough to embed the evolution of or advancement or expansion of that definition, right? So even when you don't know, you definitely know that you didn't see everything, but you frame that definition in a way that whoever would listen to this definition can expand upon it, right? So for instance, like I said, perfection is not a state of flawlessness that just brings a static result, but then it is actually a dynamic evolution of particular states, or let me use the word maturity. So whoever is going to expand upon maturity, saying okay, perfection is a state of maturity or is a process of maturing, will be able to bring out, so you have already put in that definition, the future of that definition inside present. So that's just what I want to add. Thank you. I just hope you learned something today. I'll leave you with my favorite quote from article Proverbs, section 24, subsection 3. And it says, by wisdom is a house built, and by understanding is it established. And the house is filled with what? Goodies. Thank you so much. Stay blessed. And hope you remember that definitions actually shape people's perspective. Hope you are ensuring that you don't hold on to any definition as the only existing definition. And you ensure that you expand that understanding you have about definition. Thank you so much. Hope you all.